Dead in Hip Hop album review. Eminem, Music to Be Murdered By, Side B. And obviously we've reviewed a lot of Eminem projects. So if you have not checked those out, go check those out. Obviously, I know you guys like reviews. Me and Ken, we have a very lofty goal. So if you like reviews, go check out Dead End Hip Hop Podcast, because me and Ken are going to be dropping a review per day.
On your ass.
For 365 days. So all of 2021, we're going to try to drop a review. Are we going to hit that? I don't know, but we're definitely going to try.
And you're going to do it. Hey. Just say you're going to do it.
I appreciate you, Myke. Thank you.
We believe in y'all.
Put the battery in my back.
Like we said earlier, ain't nothing to it but to do it.
Ain't nothing to it but to do it.
Ain't nothing to it but to do it. Ain't nothing to it but to do it.
And if y'all really want to hear that joke, go listen to Is the Myke Still On, okay? If you haven't already. But yeah, man, Eminem, Music to Be Murdered By, Side B. Whew. Let me tell you, man. This was hard to get through.
Dang, you
was it, bro? Extremely. Like, I was listening to this. I had the headphones like on my head. My wife like, why are you sighing like that? I'm like, man, because I'm listening to some bullshit right now.
Damn, that's cap.
Hey, Myke was waiting on that.
Myke with the new lingo.
Myke was waiting on that.
I just learned that one.
Myke was waiting. Yo, Myke was waiting on that shit for so long. Oh, he had that shit cocked.
It was sizzling, weren't you?
Man.
Like 8 months, I didn't know what it meant.
Now you know that.
Oh man,
he was waiting to unload that.
Nah, man, this shit was hard. It should have just stayed a B-side that nobody really heard. Now, here's the thing, though. I'm not discrediting Eminem's ability, because he displays his ability, and he also is clever and witty in certain areas. But the overwhelming majority of this is just why. Why are you still rapping about this? Why are you still putting this out? Why?
Like in his book of rhymes, he just went on a rhyme.
So he just wanted to get.
And he emptied it.
Right, he wanted to empty his book of rhymes.
Emptied his book of rhymes.
Well, that's cool. Just leave it for you and your homies, bro. Like the public don't need to hear this shit.
Damn.
Man.
There are a lot of Eminem fans. There are a lot of Eminem fans that wanted to hear this shit.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I'm not one of them.
Damn.
I'm 1,000,000% not one of those Eminem fans that wanted to hear this. And now here's the thing. Like, for everybody that wants to say, oh, Feefo hate if Feefo do it, if Feefo. Look,
you are.
What was it? Kamikaze that he had dropped not too long ago. I want to say I really like that one. And then just the jabs and stuff that he's taking at media pundits like us and stuff like that. I'm just like, still?
You're being tone deaf, Feefo.
Maybe, bro. But look, man. Y'all stupid as hell. I'm just, I can't, bro.
B, did this leave you discombobulated too?
That was actually one of the tracks that I like on this album was discombobulated. It kind of showed at least a playful side of M that I can tolerate, throughout his, previous first, his second, third, and fourth album. It kind of showed that vintage Eminem on that discombobulated joint. But yeah, it's funny because people always, and I'm just going on a little tangent or whatever. I mean, I'm gonna get back to that album. But yeah, people always, talk about like Nas and his beat selection. Like, I feel like, where is this same energy for Eminem? Like, I feel like Eminem's beat selection, probably within this last decade, with the exception of Relapse, because I still like Relapse. I don't care what nobody say. After Relapse, I feel like his ear for beats is just, and I think I said this on previous album reviews of Eminem. This is like, how are your beats are so subpar, but you have access to like so many dope producers in your back pocket. Alchemist being one of them. I think we said that before. Like, I don't know. It's amazing how this dude beats like Higher. I cannot stand that. Every time I hear them damn claps, I call them the Eminem claps on that song Higher. I just like, Jesus Christ, man. This is I hate this type of production. And I was like, oh shit, DJ Premier. I'm like, he about to rhyme over the Premier beat. And I was like, oh damn,
my God.
He just got him.
What the fuck?
He just got
okey doke everybody on that motherfucker.
Just
boy.
got him for the scratches. Just the scratches, man. I'm just like, Jesus Christ.
Set up.
That humor, what he was saying on Tone Deaf at the beginning, a line he said at the very beginning. I'm just like, dude, that shit it's not funny at all. About
I can't figure it out.
Yeah, yes. I don't know. It was just like, I mean,
It's like somebody lewd dad. It's just in the other room, just like, I got another one for you, girl.
Right. It's like,
finger, get it? It's like,
And
dude,
maybe,
yeah, we get
maybe,
it, bro.
yes,
Cunt,
yes.
yeah. I can't finger
Yes.
it out.
So I mean, I
Bruh.
guess at this point he's probably just trying to find a playful side or a jokey side of him. It's just not. It's not working. I mean, I understand. We've all reviewed artists that had some funny lines that made us laugh, or just a funny album in general. Sometimes it might work for that artist, or it might work for that particular album. I just feel like with this album, with M's sense of humor, it just didn't work at all. Just for him trying to be fun and playful, which is cool. Like I said, I don't have an issue with it. I think that's cool if you at this point, 25 plus years in the game, that you kind of want to show a playful side or whatever. So, but it just didn't really hit for me at all with this album. I mean, yes, of course, Feefo, you said it. We're not going to really talk about his rhyming capability is definitely still going to be there. It's just the fact that the way these lines hit, it just be like, nah, M, like, you this caliber of MC and you saying these type of lines, like, really? So
You didn't like when he said these bars are like COVID, you get it right off the bat.
That's tight.
now that's cap. That shit is cap. Again, it's just disappointing because I know an MC of this caliber is just like, damn, you just making this kind of like mediocre music with these mediocre production. It's just, yeah, it's really frustrating. It's really more frustrating than more so difficult to listen to. It's just like, damn, really, M? Because, like I said, this dude started off, is like one of the greats. You know what I'm saying? It's just like every time this dude is just making this subpar albums with subpar production, and you can do better than this. I feel like you can have a better, you should have a better ear for beats than this. And yeah, that's about it.
You said he started off as one of the greats. Do you think he's hurting his legacy?
You think what?
Do you think he's hurting his legacy? Because you said he started off as one of the greats.
Yeah, I mean, he you can look at from like 99 to like 2003 that M had a run that's damn near unmatched. But like since that, I mean, since Relapse, after he had his issue, from Encore, and he had his hiatus and stuff, he was going through his personal issues, and then he came back with Relapse, which was dope. I still co-sign that album. But after that, yeah, it's just been, it seemed like his ear for beats has just gotten worse or whatever. I mean, and I don't know if maybe because Dre was really tapping in, helping him with the production earlier in his career. It just seemed like now it's like his ear for beats, man. And I know he does a lot of these beats himself, which, that's still kind of, it's questionable still for him to hear that. And I don't understand why his production has fell off so bad in the last decade, in my opinion.
I mean, I get his B-sides. I get why he left them off or kept them in the vault.
So left them in the
Technically,
vault.
he didn't.
Yeah, but I mean, it could be him just putting something out for the diehard fans, and I'm just gonna take it as that. I didn't like anything about this album. I definitely felt set up by the DJ Premier trap Book of Rhymes, DJ Premier. I was ready, and I got nothing, and that was disappointing. Nat was a very confusing song to me just by the title. I mean, I know he used it in the hook.
The last minute and a half of that song was actually pretty okay.
Yeah. I mean, I mean, I had to break out. This don't even get the iPad, y'all. This don't even get the iPad. If I got the phone, it's a bad sign.
That's fucked up.
If I got the iPhone, it's a bad sign.
Yeah.
Yeah. Guns Blazing was a no.
Blazing. What song was that?
Yeah, that's the one with
Dr.
Dr. Dre
Dre.
on it.
Yeah.
Oh, that was bad.
My God,
Yeah.
Ty Dolla $ign. The song with Ty Dolla $ign
Favorite bitch.
was horrendous.
Myke say, oh.
But that's dope. He continues to give Skylar Gray some work. So I got a couple of tweets from people. Oh man, I know people harass y'all the new M, or y'all gonna do it or whatever. And I was just sitting around one night. I think it was a Friday, whatever. And it's like let me just play this. I ain't got shit to do. The game on. I'm gonna put on the basketball game, turn the volume down, and just listen to this shit. And I was like, oh my God, this is so bad. And I thought it was like, I don't know why, but I thought it was like brand new music from M. And I looked, I was like, an hour and a half? And then it got to like, because the first part is all B-sides. And then it got to music to Murder by whatever. And I was like, why does this sound familiar? And then I realized I had to do some research that, this is just extra songs.
But the title didn't get out of the way.
No, I forgot about it. I completely forgot about this album.
Yeah.
I completely forgot this album came out in January until I started doing research.
Oh God!
Because I was like, man, how am I gonna get through an hour and 44 minutes or whatever of music this bad? And I was like, I don't think I can do it. And I remember saying to myself, like,
you was looking at the total. Of
yeah.
both of them.
And I was like, I don't want to review this. I remember saying this, like, it was so bad. I was like, man, I don't know if I could review this if it's 2 hours of new music by Eminem.
Circling back to the tweets you were talking about and stuff. Like I saw people saying like, oh man, it's like Eminem listened to y'all with the hooks and all that. So I thought this was actually gonna be good when I went to go listen to it. So did y'all see that at all? Like people saying like, oh man, like I think y'all might like. Were they just fucking with us? Like knowing that we wouldn't like
the stands. I mean, it's to a Ken's point, man.
Who were they sending this to?
It was to the dead end or something. Oh.
It was on the Dead End Hip Hop account. It was like it was an ad mentioning Dead End Hip Hop. That's the only reason I see it because I don't look at it.
I don't ever check that. So.
Okay.
Yeah, so yeah, they was just like, oh yeah, it's like he listened to y'all. Da 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 da. I'm like,
They said that before, so
I feel like he could have really knocked that Alfred's theme out the park, but the beat was very lazy. I feel like they could have really, someone could have really chopped that. It could have been chopped up better. The Alfred's theme joint.
I don't think it's nearly as bad as y'all think it is. I don't. I'm sorry. I don't think it's good. I think that the issue with this album, you can screw it even more. I don't care because my bars are like COVID. You need at least 6 feet. Which, let me get this out the way. I do not believe that these are B-sides. I'm gonna tell you why. Mm-hmm. He recorded "Music to Be Murdered By" in 2019. If these were B-sides, how would he have a song about COVID?
Exactly.
COVID didn't happen until 2020.
Yeah.
"Music to Be Murdered By" came out in January.
Yeah.
So I think he recorded these songs,
got his ass,
and then just dropped them and act like they were B-sides. I don't think these are B-sides.
And just try to call it, just to call it, make it sound. Oh, these is throwaways.
Good catch, Mike.
Yeah.
But here's the thing, I like this more than the other one. I think this is better than the original "Music to Be Murdered By."
I don't even remember. I can't
But
even say I disagree or agree with you.
That is not me
I don't
saying.
remember. Yeah.
That's not me saying that this is a dope album or
Right.
even a good album. It's
Right.
not.
Right.
It's not a good album. It is painfully mediocre. And a lot of times that is worse than being bad. I listened to this and I'm like, okay, his technicality is still there. His flows are still there. The problem is he has way more bad punchlines than he has good lines. Now, if you put this album on and you don't pay attention to what he's saying, it's not bad. It's just not. Because the first time I listened to it, I stopped it at the "Bars Are Like COVID" song because that was the first one where I'm like, oh my God, I'm really paying attention to his lyrics and they're bad. The second time I listened to it, I just put it on in the background and just started doing whatever I was doing. I'm on a different side with beat because I don't think the beats are that bad. The only time I really start saying, God, this is fucking awful, is when I pay attention to his lyrics. And I should not be saying that about Eminem. At this, it's kind of embarrassing.
Yeah.
He has way too many trash bars on this thing. He has some good ones, but the bad ones drastically outweigh the good. And that's the problem with this album. Black Magic, I was like, all right, this isn't bad, but anytime Skylar Grey pops on the scene, I'm just like, I'm not gonna like this song because I know he's going for some weird pop thing. But he's rapping about some girl that he's into or something, and he says when she grab a switch and put me over her knee because my ass is whipped. I'm like, bro. Like, one of y'all said why when you listen to this. I can't remember if it was one of you.
Feefo.
That was my sentiment as well. A lot of this was just like, why did you say that? Why did you say that? Why did you say that? But I didn't think the beat was bad. I just didn't. Alfred's theme, I like that beat too. I didn't need that beat to be extremely detailed. Just give me the Alfred song and just rap over it. And for a minute, I was like, okay, it's not cool, but it's not bad. But I think that's the one where he says no, that's not the Piss Stofferson one. That's tone deaf. This is the one where he says the Santa Claus thing about I can out rap everybody.
Oh my God.
Yeah. He didn't say that. Yeah. He also said, fuck, you're always punking out like Halloween. It was a lot of really bad lines. Tone deaf. I liked that beat too. I didn't mind that beat at all. It was the rapping that was the problem. Because Tone Deaf gave me a glimpse of older M, and I was like, all right. But the lyrics were bad. The lyrics are bad, and that's the issue with most of this album. The lyrics are bad. When he stopped and he said, I'm trying to get head first like a nosedive, I'm like, bro, get that shit the fuck out of here. And then you heard of Chris Christopherson? Well, I'm Christopherson. Why would you say that? Why would you say that? You sound good, M. He's not yelling anymore like he used to. He's back to really concentrating on technical aspects and flows, but his lyrics are taking a very serious hit.
So I ask, is he losing it?
I don't know that I can say he's losing it. I think the issue is he's focusing on one thing too much. What he's doing is he's saying, I'm Eminem, so I can just rhyme a bunch of random bullshit, and as long as I do it really technically, then it's gonna be cool.
Couldn't he actually be using that to cover up for his decline in lyrics?
No, I'm not saying he's never a decline in lyrics. When he said losing it, I'm looking at him as a full package.
Okay.
So I think people really underestimate how hard it is to do technical rapping and popping around and switching up flows. And it's become the cool thing to just be like, oh, Eminem sucks. Eminem sucks. I'm not trying to say that. I don't think Eminem sucks. I think that Eminem has lost his ability to do technical flows, technical wordplay, and still have compelling lyrics. His lyrics are not compelling. They're really embarrassing. They're corny.
If this artist wasn't named Eminem, like we would be saying that he sucks.
I disagree. I think it's the opposite. If this artist was not named Eminem, because y'all motherfuckers, no, not y'all.
Yeah, we know.
Y'all motherfuckers like rappers with way worse lyrics than this. And y'all will make excuses all day. Oh man, it's a vibe. Or nah, man, you just gotta ride with. He makes ride
But
music.
you know what though? Like to something that Ken was saying, it's like, you know, I feel like along the way, Eminem has worn a lot of different crowns, right? Like, okay, he's the best lyricist, he's the best technical rapper, he's the best this, a lot of them shits is stripped away now at this point. And I agree with you that there are a lot of rappers that are super popular with way worse lyrics, but they never started off, like B said, in 99 to 03 or 04 with that run. So the expectation level for your career is something different than what it has turned into.
I agree, but it's expectation level. Those are your expectations. So saying that if this guy was not called Eminem, we'd say it sucks. How does that make sense if it's your expectation that's making it a different way?
Because at the end of the day, like, there's a lot of hip hop greats, right, that have just stayed around too long. You know what I'm saying? And yeah, they may still be technically sound or whatever, but it's just like, and I said this years ago, like way back when we were still doing it in my apartment in Dunwoody, like I said way back then, this is almost like 7-8 years ago now, that Eminem is devoid of true content. He's like think about what he rapped about coming up, right? Like, I'm not obviously rich, I have girl problems, I'm killing this, I'm doing that. He's way sadistic, he's doing a whole bunch of crazy shit. That shit don't play out 10 years later.
I think it does. I think that Eminem,
but he ain't doing it right because they don't sound good.
That's the point, and that's why I disagree with your content issue. It's not the content; it's him. Like, he could still make songs today where he's now, whether or not the culture we're in would accept these, but if we're talking about him talking about, you know, all this zany shit, killing his girlfriend and all this other shit, he could still do that.
See,
the issue is his lyrics aren't good. If you don't pay close attention to what he's saying, and you pay attention to how he's saying
he's rapping it,
you're like, okay, that was actually a really interesting way to deliver that bar.
No, 100%.
The problem is the bar.
Yeah.
Like, if Eminem had a ghostwriter, I would like this probably a lot more. But again, my issue when I look at this track list, my issue is the lyrics. The lyrics for Bad Bitch, but like the beat.
And isn't that what we listen to Eminem for, or the lyrics?
But that's where I'm agreeing.
Yeah,
with you
yeah,
guys.
yeah.
We listen to Eminem for the whole package. So when you say as he slipped as far as the whole package goes, I think one part of that package is drastically slipping. And the part that's slipping is the part that we loved so much about him. his lyrics.
When I talk about expectation, right? Like, it's like when you start off as a rap god, right? Like that's really what he came into the game and he put everybody on notice, right? And one of his, huh?
Yeah, okay.
Sort of.
Okay, either way. But one of his very close contemporaries, Royce, just seems to get better and better.
Yes.
Right? He's more refined.
Yep.
And I just don't understand how Eminem is going the complete opposite way.
No one's disagreeing, and I don't think it's for us to figure out. This is something that
You're right.
Eminem needs to figure out.
You're right. You're right.
But
You're right.
I think that, honestly, at times people can be a bit too hard on Eminem, and I think it's because of expectations. Eminem still has the technical ability more than a lot of other rappers.
100.
Which nobody's saying that. You're just like, oh my God, his album is trash. He still has a very interesting way of the way he composes his bars. The problem with this album is his bars aren't good. I think that people are really quick to just dismiss the entire bucket of Eminem and just be like, Eminem is trash now, when I don't think that's the case. If Eminem worked harder on the lyrics he's saying as opposed to how he's saying them, I think we could in the future get a good Eminem
I don't think
album.
anybody here is saying that.
Saying what?
I don't think anybody here is saying that M just sucks.
Yeah, Feefo literally just said that.
I'm
He said
asking
if this
the
was not
question.
M, we'd say it sucks. So yeah, that's what I'm going on.
My issue with just his beat, the beat selection. Because
I
even
got that.
even on the last album, even when we reviewed the last album, I do remember saying like,
It's still
them
there.
flows is that my hooks was the issue
Yeah.
with his last album. The hooks to me messed
hooks
us-
are bad,
Yeah,
bro.
the hooks were so
Yeah.
bad in the last album. But I was like, I said like,
You still
yo,
can see that M
Yeah,
got
I'm
it.
like,
Like,
M flow is still
yeah.
sick as hell. Even on that last album, I'm like, yo, he still can fucking rhyme with the best of them. And
And-
it was just my issue with that last album was just the hooks. This one with this album for me, mostly is the
You
production.
don't like the beats, and that's
Yeah.
fair.
I agree, and that's why I kept saying when you said that the technical rap, of course, is still there, and I even said that in my original going first. Like I said that, like yeah, he could still rap his ass off, but like Eminem's standard is lyrics, it is bars, it is to make you think, and not just the delivery. And when you don't have a major component of what made you who you are, like why put this out?
My question that I was trying to get in, but I didn't want to take away from that moment was when you're talking about, we're talking about the issue is the lyrics.
Yeah.
Is
To
it
me.
because he's writing for that specific audience demographic and hasn't really found a way to kind of make those lyrics sound good for that particular audience?
I don't think so, man. When I go back and I listen to old M albums, he wasn't so technical with his flows back then.
Yes.
Back then, he was more so concerned with like, okay, I'm writing these dope lyrics, but I want to make this rhyme with this, but also rhyme with this, and also rhyme with this.
And still make a great song at the same time.
And still make a great song.
Yes.
And I think that is what he's lacking now.
Exactly.
And that's it.
So yeah, you say lacking. I noticed the same thing. So I did basically. I don't know if you did this, but I actually went back and listened to some of his older stuff. I'm like, what the fuck is it, right? So you're saying he's lacking that? I think he has too much of something now, and that
Yes,
too much
and
of
that's the
something
flow
now
thing, yeah.
is the punchlines. He didn't do many punchlines back in the day, and I think he's not very good at punchlines. I think at the end of the day, Eminem is just not good at punchlines.
Yeah.
And they come off corny.
Yep.
I went back and listened to like stuff like Marshall Mathers, like title track, Say I Am, all that stuff. I was like, wait a minute, he's not using punchlines here.
Exactly.
Like, I don't know when he made this switch to punchline flow, but that punchline flow M isn't it.
Yeah.
And that's where I think that's the problem. He has too much of something, not lacking of.
Well, okay, so I agree with you to a degree, but
It's a lot of that.
I know,
today.
right? The reason I slightly disagree with him having too much of something, I don't think that that's the issue. Because it's not just the punchlines. If you sit down, because I did this part, I
Okay.
sat down because I was trying to wrap my brain around this. Because the first listen, I was like, oh my God, this is so bad. I'm turning this off. I'm not even going to deal with this album. I'll go back to it later, like it's homework. The second listen, I was just like, okay, it's not that bad, but it's still not good. So then I sat down and I just looked at his lyrics and looked at what he was saying. Nothing. So it's not even It's not even just the punchlines. Even the regular bars, it's just nothing. It's a bunch of blah.
Here's the reason why it's the punchlines for me, because
The punchlines are the worst part of it.
Yeah, so the reason why it's the punchlines for me, because as I told y'all before, I wasn't always an Eminem fan because I wasn't a fan of the content,
Right.
Or content, lyrics, whatever you want to call it, right? So, but I still was impressed about the way that he did it.
Sure.
Even not being interested in the content, I still was impressed by that.
Mm-hmm.
So for me, if he took out all of those corny punchlines, I think he still has an interesting enough way of approaching lyrics and content. Personally,
He used to. He used to.
I really think y'all will feel different if he took out a lot of these punchlines.
I-
Because
I-
I think that's what everybody always gripes about. That and the hooks, right?
Okay, so again, I think that his technical ability is still there. Every once in a while, he'll drop a bar where I'll be like, wow, that was actually good. The punchline about the pasta news, I thought that was a good line. I typically don't watch reviews before I do one, but I got to give a shout out to Luke James. He had the most concise and fair statement on Eminem when I watched it. So I was like, everything he's saying here makes sense. He's fair. He's calling out the bullshit that M's doing, but he's also being like, okay, you do have certain areas where you're still dope. I don't think a lot of people do that. Instead, they're just like, Eminem sucks. Eminem sucks. Why is Eminem making music? I'm not listening to an Eminem album. But it's like, I get it, but let's not act like M can't do better. I think if M spent more time with his lyrics, because there are glimpses on here where it's like, I hear the old M.
I don't know, man. I just, it's just he's like a basketball player that's in like his 18th year in the league. It all looks good.
Sure.
The shit just not going in. You're just not jumping as high as you used to.
I agree, but can you fix that? Can he practice more on getting the ball in more?
Those players can't, but you know what they do? They go to like their old man game or and they change it up. So they find certain things to where they can still put up 20 points. Yeah. They just do it in a different way. So that's kind of going to what you're saying.
Yes.
Like, you can't do what you used to do anymore.
Right.
So you got to figure out what does old M sound like?
This.
Because right now you sound like the old man in the club. While you're trying to, be all funny and with those little comical lines or whatever. And you're maybe serving that audience and they may like it. But you're also, losing another part of your audience, maybe, or maybe they just tapped out and just not even listening anymore. I don't know. I just know that
it's not. It's not.
I'm gonna pass.
See, that's what I'm talking about. That's what I'm talking about.
you
Y'all
gonna pass?
disrespectful.
I'm gonna pass.
Give me discombobulated. Those demons.
Those demons. What is that?
These demons.
Yeah, these demons. Yeah, I think that's all I got.
So you got two?
Yeah.
The key skit.
You stupid as fuck, man. What was that? I still don't get it. I'm so confused.
Yeah, I don't know. But nah, the only one I really got is discombobulated.
I'm gonna do better than that. I'm gonna give you discombobulated. I'm gonna give you. Hold on, man. Hold on now. I'm gonna give you discombobulated. I'm gonna give you about 3/4 of Alfred's theme, and I'm gonna give you about half a tone deaf.
Hey, M, if you watching, bro, I know this has been pretty brutal, but man, look, I agree with Myke for the most part. The technicality is still there, bro. Like you still have that. That has never left. But the punchlines, to Rod's point, the bad hooks to B's point, and even I don't know what you want to do. I really don't. Like, what do you want to do with music? That like when I was listening to this, all I could ask was just why? Why release this? Why do this?
And if you're watching, like I've said before, man, my issue with you, I've never complained about your rapping. Just your beat selection over these past few albums, man. That's my only issue. These beats just really don't do anything for me. I feel like a lot of production on this has been lazy. But your rapping, of course, your rapping ability is still top notch. I've never ever complained about that.
Eminem, if you're watching, here's what I'll say. I'll preface this by saying, in my opinion, so I don't like this album. I do think the lyrics were not there, and the beats were selection. I did not like the beats that you chose. And I don't think your technical ability was enough to save the album, even though it was still present. But there is a huge base, and that do like this. From what Myke was saying earlier, there are a lot of people that love this album, and for those people who do enjoy it, and for who I think you're making music for, if that is your target audience, if that is your business objective, then by all means, who am I to critique that? As a review channel, I'm going to critique it and give my opinion on what I think about the music. But nevertheless, that you're not making music necessarily for me at this moment in time. You're making it for a whole different people. And to that, much power to you. And I'll just leave it at there. You're still doing what you do and what you love to do. And for that, that's to be commended after all these years.
Eminem, if you're watching, look, man, I think you need more people that are going to be honest with you. And honestly, the frustrating part about this album is that it's so fucking mediocre. I think that if you concentrated more on your lyrics as opposed to how you're saying your lyrics, you'd be a lot better off. Like, to me, this comes off as somebody trying to serve you a Spam sandwich on a gold plate. It's still a fucking Spam sandwich. And I think that your lyrics are coming off like a Spam sandwich. And you just have to work on crafting better lyrics. And I think that this could be a lot better place for you when it comes to rap. With Feefo, when I listen to this, I have the same sentiments. I'm just like, what was the point of this? Like, why release this? You dropped Kamikaze because everybody shit on Recovery. Or not Recovery.
Revival.
You dropped Kamikaze because everybody shit on Revival. But since then, it's just been like, well, what's going on? Like, what is the point here? Like, are you just trying to show everyone that you can flow with the best of them? Because we already know that. The problem is your lyrics are really just not as good as they used to be. And that's my thing. So my positive reinforcement for you, M, is your flows are still there. Your technical ability is still there. The problem that people are having is what you're saying, it's just bad. A lot of these lines gave me secondhand embarrassment. So I don't really know what else to say. I'm trying not to be real harsh. Should I just end it there? Yeah.